Hey there YouTube, Arab Carthage here, bringing you a map from Sakura Ridge. You can see my opponent over here. I guess he's supposed to be Ronin. Of course he has to use two eyes because I'm sure somebody's already used that name. I wanted to talk strategy about this map and this battle. And when you see a map like that where you have a ridge right in the center, which you can now see on my screen, I'm going to actually put this in slow motion just for a second because I don't want to miss any action. So that way I can explain my armies and the strategy. Now, first of all, when you play a map with a ridge or a feature like this that's equally shared between both sides, you have to capture it. You cannot sit still. Look at this terrain. Do you really want your men fighting, downhill on this kind of terrain? I mean, that is awful. You cannot sit still. The only chance you might have of not taking the hill would be to come back here in these woods, but even still, you're fighting very much at a downhill position. And it would be risky at best, but do not let your opponent take this hill unchallenged. And that's precisely what my opponent does. Now my opponent is actually an 8-star as well, so the same as me. We're pretty evenly matched. He's got his Mons here absolutely blacked out, and I don't know if they do that to just like confuse opponents so that you can't see what kind of troops they have at an easy look, or how many chevrons. I'm not really sure what the thinking behind that is. I'm sure that that's their intention, or they just think it's cool. But you can kind of tell how many upgrades certain units have by looking at the little mini flags that they carry. It's kind of like Rome Total War. Now, of course, every unit has like one guy who's like the standard bearer, so don't mistake that for a don't mistake that for an upgrade flag. So here's his avatar. His avatar is the same as his Steam name. He's carrying a bow, so his avatar is definitely wearing the default armor. Let's take a look at his army real quick. Again, I'm going to pause it because I don't want to miss any action, and the battle's not going to last overly long. So let's see, he's got some bow warrior monks. There's a second unit of bow warrior monk. So looks like 3 units of bow warrior monk. Yeah, I think 3 units of bow warrior monk. Let's see, Naginata monks, Naginata monk. Katana Samurai, Katana Samurai, Katana Samurai, Naginata Monk. So he's got his army, he spent a whole lot of money on these Naginata monks, Bow Warrior monks. They're 3,000 apiece, so he spent 3,000 on his missile component, and yeah, his Naginata monks, even without upgrades, are very expensive. And then if you look over here, he's got some cavalry hidden in the woods that were hidden. They're now visible to me. And yeah, you can see them there. I believe, I'm not sure how much of his troops were upgraded really, to be honest. I think some of them were upgraded. Maybe you don't get to see little flags and all the other units. I'm not sure because, let's see, I'm mousing over. I don't see any special names. So if they are veteran units, he hasn't named them. In any case, let's go ahead and go into the slow motion here, and I'll show you my army. I know some of you may be like, get to the action, Air. Well, the action's kind of short, so Air just wants to make sure you see everything. Let me show you the units I brought. I've got 2nd Patchy's horse. It's a Yari Cav. Right here is the Patchter himself, who is wearing his ultra sweet armor. You can see him there, like really close up. A lot of his armor is the armor of Uesegi Kenshin. I am going to change his horse around a little bit, I think. But anyway, there's Patchy in all his glory. And he is a legendary leader. You can see his skills tree a couple of battles back.
Our general is in
danger, my lord. Patchy is kind of angry right now because the enemy troops are starting to shoot arrows at him, and he doesn't like that kind of insolence. And here's my other cavalry unit. It's Patchy's Guards. That's a Yari Cav unit. Let's check out my troops that run up. I think I have 3 bow units, and then I have 3 Yari Ashigaru units. So let's take a look. My 3 Yari Ashigaru units, I have the First Light Spears, Patchy Spear Wall, and of course Satan Spears. Yeah, gotta love these guys. Let's see, just behind them I have my Bow Ashigaru. I have 3 units of them. I have Aim for the Groin. That's them there. And then right here I've got Arrow in Your Eye and Death from Above. And then right behind them I have all my Katana Samurai. Here's Patchy Slashies. Slash and Trash, Better Start Running, and Katana You Face. I think Katana You Face is probably one of my favorites. And then I brought my 2 Matchlock Ashigaru units. Some of you are wanting me to use more Matchlock. I've noticed Matchlock is becoming very popular online. It's useful, but a lot of people are starting to get the idea that the only way you can win is with upgraded Matchlock. There's definitely drawbacks to Matchlock. If used properly, it is quite powerful, but don't get over-reliant on it. And I'll be bringing you some battles in the future to show you that Matchlock is not all it's cracked up to be all the time. So these are my Patchy's Got's a Gun unit, and then my other unit is Patchy's Rifles. So yeah, there's all my units. Oh, and I forgot I brought this Yari Samurai unit. This is Poke Your Eye Out. That's my Yari Samurai. They're pretty upgraded. So let me explain the tactics. Again, my opponent surrendered the ridge to me, so the first thing that I'm going to do is move as far forward on the ridge as I can. And this is going to allow me to prevent him from being able to gain equal ground. So even if my opponent starts to charge up, he's going to get caught on the lower ground. So again, that was a tactical mistake by my opponent. Another thing I did was I put my my Ashigaru up front on loose formation. This is a meat shield, and a fairly tough meat shield since they are veteran units. And also, since Patchy is such a high-ranked leader, there's going to be these guys are going to have pretty solid morale. You can see their morale bars are unwavering. Even this one that's getting shot to crap, they're already down past half. They're just now starting to go yellow into red, and that's after taking fire from 3 Bow Warrior Monk units. You can see my archers firing back here. Let's follow the arrows in. This will be kind of fun since it's in slow motion. There's the Bow Warrior Monks. Check it out. You're going to pass their flaming arrows in midair. Let's see. Here's my arrows raining down on the Bow Warrior Monks. Didn't have any hits right there. This guy got hit right there, though. Let's see where he got hit. Ooh, right through the shoulder. That was cool. That guy just released an arrow. Let's see if we can watch these Bow Warrior Monks loose their arrows. These are cool units. Yeah, there they go, loosen their arrows, and they're going to run back at this point. Whoa, check out that volley. Yeah, anyway, I'm getting some good volleys on those guys. I have my bows in tight formation, and that's to, people keep saying it increases their accuracy. I think it does just a little bit. It's not going to show it as a statistic, but obviously when you're in tight formation, your arrow groupings are going to come down in a tighter formation as well, and probably be a little more concentrated. So hopefully you don't mind the slow motion action. I'll push play here in a minute. I just want to make sure that you catch all the action and see what I'm doing. My infantry in the center is just straight up superior to his. Regardless of whether they're upgraded, you know, mine are very heavily upgraded, so I guarantee you my Katana Samurai can take his head on. And I'm going to use 2 strategies here. I'm going to use a little disruption with my my spears. I don't need these guys because my cavalry plus my Yari Samurai can handle his cavalry. So I'm going to just go ahead and throw these guys away in a disruption attempt. This is going to make sure that his men are already fighting whenever the battle starts. Again, my opponent's using fire at will. He does have a unit of fire rockets, I forgot to mention them. And because he's got them on fire at will, he should have been targeting my general. He was not. And that's going to be a mistake. Check out these Katana Samurai. They're already down to over, they've lost half their unit. You can see some of them dropping from my arrow fire. Then here comes Satan Spears charging down the hill. They're actually in a spear wall formation. And this is just to try and help fix up the enemy. And I know I'm charging through the backs of my own unit. I'm not really needing a charge bonus in this time, so if some of you may be like, "Air, you're charging into the backs of your own units." Yeah, I know. Again, any charge bonus that the enemy troops got is going to be nullified on my spear troops, and I don't really need a charge bonus, as my guys are going to absolutely mess these guys up. And right there, you're seeing the morale of this Katana unit go up, and it's because a lot of times when these units enter battle, they get a little bit demoralized just due to different things, so you have to be careful. Sorry, again, I've still got it in slow motion. I hope you don't mind. It's not a very long battle, I just want to make sure you catch all the action. So here's my Katana units facing off with his own, and there's some fire rockets going past. Anyway, I love the slow motion fighting. There goes my Satan Spears. They routed. They were getting hit by fire rockets. Here's the Naginata monks facing off with my my Katana Samurai. Now my Katana Samurai have huge attack, and they actually have pretty darn strong melee defense too, because I'm using a retainer that helps give more melee defense to my my Katana, and I have also given them more melee defense. So my Katana are very much an equal to these Warrior Monks, and especially since my guys have the downhill advantage. But Warrior Monks' morale is still much higher, even than a veteran Katana unit, and so that's why you're going to see them hold out so well against my units. I think I will go ahead and push play at this point. Over here is kind of the main fight. He's charged his general right up into my infantry for some reason. I can't say that I understand that move. Definitely not a very sound strategy, as my infantry here is pretty much whipping up on his infantry really bad. And then I've moved my matchlock units to the flanks, and I'm just going to lay down fire on his men. Now, matchlock fire demoralizes enemy troops, So when you get to the flank and lay down matchlock fire, it's going to really have a huge morale effect. Number one, because the enemy is flanked, and number two, you know, like I said, because matchlock fire itself has a morale decreasing effect on enemy troops. So there's my matchlock Ashigaru. They've actually had their stats upgraded quite a bit. Check them out shooting those warrior monks down. But now that my guys are caught in a melee, they'll absolutely get thrashed. So yeah, those guys are going to get absolutely wasted by the warrior monks. Yeah, that's what's going on there. I did the same thing on the other flank. You can see my matchlock units there were firing at some routing enemy troops. So matchlock are great when you use them on the flanks. And in the meantime, my opponent tried to kill Patchy, so he just sent all 3 of his cavalry units just chasing Patchy, which is actually pretty futile at this point. But maybe it gives him some sense of satisfaction to think that he killed my general before the fight was over. But he is not going to be able to catch Patchy because Patchy has wings. Yeah, so there he is. Patchy managed to get away from the enemy, which doesn't always happen. And now all of his horse units are caught up in my Yari Samurai. And Yari Samurai are just completely superior to horse units, of course. I mean, that's exactly what they train to do. And then my Yari Cav is in there messing those guys up too. So that ended up being a victory for me. I hope you learned something about the strategy on this map. Again, the strategy on this map should be capture the ridge, capture the ridge, capture the ridge. I mean, there's nothing else to say about the strategy other than capture the ridge. And you have to take that ridge. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but it gives your infantry a great point at which to charge down. And if your opponent captures the ridge before you, then you're going to have to really think. Maybe sometime I'll get to show you a battle where that happened. Alright, I'm not always going to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and commentate this, this screen. I can't really see the numbers, but you're going to see here that when I go through my unit statistics, you'll see that some of my units leveled up, including a couple of my matchlock Ashigaru, and I've been trying to level them up one more time. I've been trying to get my units in a position where I can do some of the advanced upgrades with the clan tokens and then explain those because some of you had asked. So hopefully I'll get to do that with my my matchlock Ashigaru as they get more experience. But then another thing I wanted to show you was these pictures that are coming up. This was actually taken off my balcony just a little while ago. You can see that that's very nearly a tornado that's right there behind that apartment building straight across. Yeah, they were blowing the tornado sirens, and I had to seek shelter for a little while, but I wanted to snap a picture real quick just in case I got to see something cool, and sure enough, I got these pictures. They're pretty much the same picture. One of them's just shifted a little bit to one direction. So yeah, there's the wicked weather, but air made it out okay, able to defeat that tornado.